Good day, folks. It's nice to be back here on our series, which we will give you a list of, and this is one of them you can get from our library. So today's topic is the topic of iodine and what it can do for us and what is going on in the world with it. I've been studying iodine maybe for 20 years, and every time I study more research, I realize there's a new aspect of it we didn't touch on before. So I'll keep this short, about under 20 minutes, and just so you can get an idea of the impact iodine has on our whole biochemistry and our well-being. Iodine has been used as a medicine for more than 200 years, and it seems to have fallen or been pushed aside by pharmaceutical synthetics. But still, your body cannot run on synthetics, it can only run on real nutrition. And so, the forms of iodine, the best form is the one you get in the food. But already around about 1924, there was a huge problem on Earth with goiters, and it was identified as an iodine deficiency. The goiter is the swelling of the neck area due to thyroid swelling, and it's simply the thyroid stressing. It's overworked because it doesn't get enough of its raw material that it needs, which is iodine, one of them. And so when it stresses too much, it either goes into failure, which is hypothyroidism, or it goes into a high speed, fast forward, which is called hyperthyroidism. They both are most uncomfortable, and the one is deadly, the hyperthyroidism. And both of them are related to iodine deficiency. So some cultures eat different food. So if you look at Japanese people and their surrounding countries, they eat seaweeds. It's a major portion of their diet, and seaweeds contain enough iodine. But in the Western world, people don't really eat seaweeds, and the soil has run out of iodine. So the authorities thought it good around about 1924 to introduce it into table salt. So you'll see on the table salt labels it says iodized salt. First of all, it's not a very good form of iodine, but it does help. And the widespread occurrence of goiter was more or less eliminated by it. The problem is at some point salt got fingered for being a cause of high blood pressure, and then people were dissuaded by their medical doctors from using too much salt. So they got too little iodine again. One big study I've seen in Los Angeles on more than 100,000 people, only 3% of them had enough iodine. And there's not really a routine test for it in pathology. So how do you know if you're deficient? Well, you will have thyroid problems, you will have fibroids, breast fibroids, and uterine fibroids, and cysts, and hormonal disturbances. Those are all related to a possible iodine deficiency. And then there's an easy home test for it, and that is to place a drop on your wrist, just here, and watch what happens. You can get a bad reaction like blistering or burning sensation, which means you shouldn't use that product. Or it can disappear very quickly, which means you're deficient, so within 3 hours. Or if you are saturated with iodine, it will still linger there, the dark brown spot, for another beyond 3 hours. So that's an easy test to see if you're sensitive to it or if you can use it. There are two popular forms, and that is nascent iodine and Lugols iodine. Lugols has a very long track record, about 150 years. It's the recipe of a French person named Lugols who invented it. And it's very friendly and it's low-cost item. And it sort of doesn't have an upper limit. In other words, you can't take too much. It's not toxic. It's very friendly. You can give it to babies. And we use it. I give it to all my patients because I've never met one who is iodine saturated in all my career. And even I sometimes use a bit more because if I feel, I have a cold coming on or something like that, it's the best, it's one of the best antibiotics you can ever use. And it's friendly, and there are many doctors, medical doctors, who have specialized in the knowledge of iodine, but it's not part of their curriculum. So your regular doctor might not know about it. And I don't know if it's available in all the countries, but I think anyone who is iodine deficient it will affect their potential performance in life. In other words, they won't be optimal. And if you have a grave deficiency, you could get thyroid problems. About where we live in this country, about 40% of women have underactive thyroid, called hypothyroidism. And then the doctors prescribe thyroid hormones for them in a prescription drug. And that is the way the medical system works. They never ever look for the cause. And this series of talks I'm going to give is going to focus a lot on cause and instead of on the symptoms. The symptom is valuable. It's valuable for pathology, also for path labs to give you readings so you can know what's not normal in you. For instance, blood pressure or cholesterol or thyroid hormones or whatever, estrogen. That gives you a clue to that there's something is out of step, and then you can look for the cause. And the purpose of this series of talks will be to highlight the causal factors in malfunction of human physiology and biochemistry, and also the prevalence of disease is increasing everywhere in the world in spite of good medical technology. So it's a bit of a mystery why all diseases are increasing in spite of good medical technology. And the main reason is things like iodine deficiency. There are other factors that I'll get to in another talk, like radiation and also air pollution and so on. They all affect us one way or the other abnormally. And so the ideal is for a human to live in a type of paradise where there is no air pollution, no radiation, and the food is all grown in organic soil. That's only in paradise we'll get that. In the meantime, we have to live our lives and be as optimal as possible, and also use safe medicines. By safe, I mean things like iodine. Iodine is a wonderful antibiotic because it will disassemble gram-positive and gram-negative pathogens. So what I'm telling you, it will kill all the germs, excepting your friendly bacteria. So it's probiotic friendly, but it's terrible death to any human unfriendly pathogens. So we have a solution here. It's a low-cost item. And now with the scare of nuclear war, after say that you get accidental nuclear like Fukushima in 2011, which releases radioactive iodine. So one remedy for that, or one defense, is to saturate your body with good iodine. Then the bad iodine, which is the radioactive one, can't get into those receptor sites. So you'll see every time there's a nuclear scare, like maybe now with this Ukraine conflict, people run for a while and use enough iodine. and then they forget about it again when the scare is over. In the meantime, it has debilitating effects on humans if they are iodine deficient. We even see it in infants of a few days old. And of course that's caused because the mother was iodine deficient. And so I'd like to encourage you to research it. There's quite a few scientists who specialize in iodine. And but I'll just give you these short talks to alert you and give you some practical advice. So your health shop will probably stock Lugols Iodine, and some of the more sophisticated ones will have nascent iodine. It will cost a bit more, it works slightly better, and but what I want to encourage you is to read up about it. My favorite author on it is Dr. Mark Circus, with an S. He's written a whole book just on iodine, and he's a practitioner in Brazil. I'm in South Africa, and we have wonderful, wonderful results with iodine. All I've seen in practice is our patients who take it as a rule, they never ever get a cold again. I've seen that over and over again, besides all the other benefits. So if you realize that your glands cannot work without iodine, means all your hormones won't work right, your immune system won't work right with iodine, and even your brain, your mind won't work right without iodine, enough iodine. And as we saw in that test in America, only about 3% of humans are getting enough. And the message I want to give you is to, if you don't feel like studying, at least give it a try and see what it does for you. So until the next talk, which will alert you on, bye-bye.